everybody. Welcome to our 9th lesson in our series of lessons on Byzantine chant. My name is Chris Kouloudoulikis. I am the Protopsaltis at St. Demetrius Greek Orthodox Church in Seattle, Washington, and I'm looking forward to teaching you a little bit today. Now remember, if you'd like some personalized feedback on your chant journey and want to get a couple private lessons in, you can go ahead and contact me about that in the email that I'm leaving in the video description below. Now with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the lesson. So today we are going to start with the Parastigmeno Gorgo. So basically what that is it's a Gorgo with a dot either to the left of it or to the right of it. Now we learned about the Gorgo a couple lessons prior, and we learned that the Gorgo splits a character into one half of a beat. It splits the character that it's on top of, and it splits the character that is just before it. Now the Parastigmeno does a similar thing, but instead of splitting the two characters into equal halves of one beat, it splits one character into 3/4 of a beat, and it splits another character into 1/4 of a beat. Now, depending on which side of the Gorgo the dot resides on, that is going to change. So you see here on the left, the dot is on the left side, meaning the left character gets 3/4 of a beat, so it's a little bit longer, and the character on the right gets 1/4 of a beat. And then the opposite is true when the dot is on the right-hand side. So if the dot is on the right-hand side, the right note is going to get the 3/4 of a beat, and the left note is going to get 1/4 of a beat. The way that I like to remember this, just a little trick, is that whatever side of the Gorgo the dot is on gets the larger portion of the beat. So it's on the left. If the dot is on the left, the note that comes first gets the larger portion of the beat, and if the dot is on the right, the note that comes second gets the larger portion of the beat. So let's look at this in an example here. So here we have the martyria of Pa. So we know we have Pa as our note, but then we have an apostrophos which follows the martyria of Pa. So we're starting on Ni. So here's what this example would sound like. Ni pa pa vu vu pa ni pa pa vu vu pa pa. So you'll see that for this and for this, I'm giving this ison 1/4 of a beat, and I'm giving the kendimata 3/4 of a beat, so a little bit longer. So I'll do it one more time for you. I'll count off so that we know what our rhythm is, and then we'll do it one more time. Ni pa, 2 ready, and ni pa pa vu vu pa ni pa pa vu vu pa pa. So that's what that example would sound like. Now we also have the Parastigmeno Digorgo here. Now the Parastigmeno Digorgo does a kind of a similar thing, but it splits three different characters into one half of a beat, and then 1/4 and 1/4. So it's gonna affect the character that is directly before it, the character that it's on top of, and the character that's directly after it, just like a Digorgo would. But now we just have that Parastigmeno dot on the side there. So as you could see, if the dot is on the leftmost note gets half the beat, and then the middle and the right get 1/4 each. If the note is in the middle, the left gets 1/4, the middle gets 1/2, and the right gets 1/4. And if the dot is on the right side, the left and the middle both get 1/4, while the right side gets 1/2. Now we are going to look at a different character called the Argo. So the Argo always appears above an oligon. We see it right here. That has a kendimata. Sorry, there's a little typo here. Not a kendimata underneath. Now, what it does is it puts a Gorgo on the kendimata. So you'll see here in this example, we have the ison, the kendimata on the bottom, and then the oligon on top with the argon. We've got the ison, and as it says, we put the kendimata, we put a gorgon on the kendimata, and then a klasma on the oligon. So basically what it means is that these two are each going to get half of a beat, this one and this one. And then instead of the oligon getting just one beat like it normally would with a gorgon on top of the kendimata, we are putting a klasma on top of it, so it actually gets 2 beats. So let's see what this would look like in an example here. We've got trisimos rhythmos, 3 rhythm. Sounds like this. Ni pavu pavu gavu gadi gavu pa ni pavu pa nizo kezo ni. So you'll see that I was doing half a beat for the ison, half a beat for the kendimata that we have under here, and then the oligon, I was holding it out for 2 full beats because of the argo, we add that klasma at the end there at the oligon. So let's look at another new character called the Diargo. So Diargo is very similar to the Argo. The only difference is that for the final character, for that oligon at the end there, you're adding another extra beat on top of it. So it gets 3 beats instead of just 2 with this dio, with a 2 aples underneath them. All right. So if I was doing this, ni, B2, ready, and ni pavu 2 3. So that last character we're holding for 3 beats. All right, so let's look at this in an example here. We got tetrasimos rhythmos, 4 rhythm. Ni, starting on ni with an ison. So we're starting on ni, 2, ready, and ni pavu pavu gavu gadi gavu pa ni pavu pa nizo kezo ni. And that's it. So you could tell that, once again, we had the ison, which was half a beat, and the kendimata, which were half a beat. But then that oligon was held for 3 beats because of the diargo. Now we have one more here called the triargo. And the triargo, you probably guessed, instead of 3 beats at the end here with the oligon, we have 4 total beats. So it's like putting a tripli underneath the oligon here. And once again, the kendimata, they have a gorgon on top of them. So let's look at this in an example. So we have the kendimata, which apply the gorgon to this ison and to themselves, and then we read the oligon, which is held for 4 total beats because of the triargo. So let's hear it. Ni, 2, ready, and ni zo zo ni pa pavu pa ni pavu di ke di gavu ga ga di gavu pa pavu pa ni zo ke zo ni. And that's that. We had a little bit of a few of our older characters here, right? Up to, we've got the gorgon and the ison with the styrigma, which just means that you read from left to right. We had the iporoi with the gorgon on top, which is like 2 apostrophe in a row, 1 apostrophos, then another one, and the first apostrophos has the gorgon on top of it. So that is going to be it for our lesson. Nice and short, but it's just some new information for you to digest. So thank you very much. Once again, if you find these lessons valuable, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I will see you in the next lesson.